Let's see. Hello, everybody. This is Craig. I am Craig, FAQ the Madness. And I am kind of doing a little test with my setup here, so see what we got going on here. Let's see. Oh, no, but I didn't want to do it that way. I want to do it this way. All right. So I just recently came back from Utah, where I had the wonderful opportunity to meet Mr. Cliff Williams, who I actually met on Generally Specific's channel. I'm sure he'll probably want to take full credit for us meeting each other, but Cliff and I decided to reclaim that accolade, if you will. But I got a little tiny snippet of us together and kind of a message, if you will, for Generally Specific. So I'll play it right now. If I can get it to go.
All right. So this is FAQ the Madness, otherwise known as Craig. I am with Cliff, and we have met here in Utah. Why did we meet?
Oh, yeah. Generally Specific, you want us to shout you out. We're not going to do that. We're men. We do what we want.
Two grown-ass men.
That's right.
That decided to get together and hang out, and now we'll be hanging out, and you won't even know about it.
That's right.
All right, that's good.
So that was our homage to, and in all actuality, we did meet each other through, Cliff does a lot of work with Generally Specific, and Generally Specific and I, we do a show, or we have done two shows now on his platform when he does a live. He calls it, Frequently Asked Questions with FAQ the Madness. The first one we've talked about. What did we talk about? Oh, we talked about Breonna Taylor, and then the second is the Breonna Taylor case, and then we also talked about some of the things involved with January 6th. So, but tonight, having gone over that, Generally Specific said, why don't we, we can do a number of different topics. He picked those two. Actually, I can't remember if he picked them or if I picked them, but something that we talked about, those two particular things, but it was nothing that I personally picked as far as a topic. So, but he has discussed, and I can't remember if it was on his Coffee and Audits, his High Noon. In fact, let me bring up his. Where are we? Generally Specific. This is his channel. He is Generally Specific, and he puts out a lot of great content. He might be going live probably later on tonight, but we try to get in where we fit in. But as you see, he has Coffee and Audits. He has High Noon, which I think he does on Fridays. He does, a number of different things, and he's gotten some pretty good interviews as well. But like I said, we did the Frequently Asked Questions with myself, FAQ the Madness, on Tuesday and I think Thursday. I was gone, so we didn't do anything last week, so we probably look forward to having another schedule and doing it. But please check out his channel. I did not link his channel in the description, but I will after I end this. But as I was saying before, I heard him speaking about immigration. And when I say immigration, I mean, the influx of immigrants coming either from south of the border or anywhere else in the world, generally through Mexico because of our open borders on that side of our country. But there seems to be a significant amount of immigration issues and immigrants coming into New York. And I think, after we listened to this particular thing that I saw, it was a piece done by Stephen A. Smith. He came across, or this particular, there was a short snippet that came across my feed, and then I went and researched and see if I could find the actual video. So it's about 13 minutes long. I'll probably let it play mostly, and maybe have a few comments in the middle, but certainly at the end. And maybe I can develop, a conversation that Generally Specific and I can have at a later date, most likely Tuesday or Thursday of next week. So here is this video, and I'll put it on full screen. Let's see.
That I think it's necessary before I get into the tweets and close out today's show. Ladies and gentlemen, Trump's going to get reelected. Donald Trump's going to be the next president of the United States. If this kind of stuff that I'm reading continues to happen in American cities, Donald Trump is a shoo-in for reelection, even if he's a convicted felon. Now, that's a damn shame. But somebody got to say it, so I'm going to say it. Did you read the story coming out of New York City? Did you read it? Involving Mayor Adams, Eric Adams, who I'm a fan of, by the way. I like him. But I don't like the story that I read over the weekend. And I think it's a story that can't be ignored. And it's talking about how $53 million in prepaid credit cards are in the process of being distributed to migrant families. Now I understand what people are thinking about, what they're wondering about here. Because they're saying to themselves, what's the problem if you're on the left? There's a big problem if you're on the right. No, it ain't that simple. We have to understand that we don't want people eating out of garbage cans. We don't want people starving. We don't want people separated from their children and children separated from their parents. We don't want this. We don't want to be cruel and inhumane. But illegal immigration has become incredibly pervasive since the Biden administration has taken office. We all know that he's capitulated to the extreme left. And even though we wouldn't say specifically and definitively that the borders are open, every time...
I think I might be inclined to look up the word capitulated. I think I have a general idea. I'm not going to embarrass myself, but maybe I'll look at it on the side. But I always find it quite entertaining to hear his vocabulary. And I'm certain that he uses his words correctly almost all the time. So, but it is something that I noticed. Capitulated.
You turn around, particularly in states like Texas and Arizona, and to a lesser degree, California, it is an extreme problem. Well, guess where else it's a problem? It's a problem in New York City, my home. And I got to tell you something right now. If it wasn't for my daughter being there, I'd be gone. Don't like what I'm seeing. But it's not just because of migrants or illegal immigration. It's because it's mayhem. Folks don't know how to act. It's not an accident that the former president keeps bringing up law and order, law and order, law and order, because those are catchwords. Those are the kind of things that make you go to the polls and vote out of fear. And it works. Throughout history, it has worked. But now this is a different kind of fear, but a fear tinged with frustration. Because when you hear about migrants receiving $53 million in prepaid credit cards, the Eric Adams administration in the mayor's office in New York City will tell you it's going to save about $600,000 a month. But that's not how poor people are looking at it. You know what?
Now, I haven't like I said, there was a short that came across my feed, and I heard whatever that short was. It wasn't this portion in which he's about to get into, I don't think. But you can see New York City to provide $53 million in prepaid credit cards to migrant families. It will be interesting to find out what that $53 million is going towards. So I think he might get into it now. So, oh Lord, here we go. But I can imagine, I'm sure some of you can also, I can't imagine that it's one of those things that you might bring up around election time. So, see what he says.
Black poor people are looking at it like, you know what, Latinos who happen to be poor that arrived in this country are looking at it like, where that money come from us? I could have used it. I could use the extra $500 a month. I could use the extra $1,000 a month. I could do that. They want to sit up there. I just want to read some of this stuff to you because I want to make sure that we put it in its proper context. New York City will soon launch a $53 million pilot program to hand out prepaid credit cards to migrant families housed in hotels, according to the report. The New York Post has reported that 500 migrant families at the Roosevelt Hotel will receive prepaid cards to help them buy food. The program is intended to replace the current food service provided there, the Post reported. A spokesperson for Eric Adams said, quote, not only will this provide families with the ability to purchase fresh food for their culturally relevant diets and the baby supplies of their choosing, but the pilot program is expected to save New York City more than $600,000 per month and more than $7.2 million annually. Here are the stipulations. Migrants eligible for the program must sign an affidavit stating they will only spend the funds on food and baby supplies or else they will lose access to funds, the report said. Another stipulation, the amount available to each family depends on their size and how much income they are receiving, according to a contract reviewed by the Post. A family of 4 might be provided nearly $1,000 each month or $35 per day for food. If the pilot program is a success with the initial 500 migrant families, it'll be expanded to all migrant families.
Now, so I'm just gonna quickly go over what I heard him say. So, money for those immigrants housed in hotels, prepaid card for food, and their culturally relevant diet. I guess meaning, if they're from China. Although there might be a lot of places that they'll have Chinese food, but culturally relevant diet, it makes sense to me. Food, baby supplies, depends on the size of the family, and which are some stipulations. So let's see that.
Staying in hotels, which is currently at $15,000, according to this report. More than 150,000 migrants have arrived in New York City since 2022, overwhelming city resources as Texas Governor Greg Abbott has bused asylum seekers to New York. Now, there are people who are absolutely appalled by that. Playing around with lives. Fair enough. Mayor Adams has decried the bust arrivals as a humanitarian crisis and said that providing food and housing for the migrants will cost about $12 billion over 3 years. Adams traveled to Latin America on a tour to dissuade potential migrants in Mexico, Colombia, and Ecuador from attempting to come to the city, saying the city, quote, is at capacity, end quote. Let me say this to Mayor Eric Adams, who I respect. That may be one of the dumbest things I've ever heard a politician do. You're going to travel to a country that's starving, that's desolate, that's impoverished, that's desperate to come to the United States of America, and you're going to beg them not to cross borders into the United States and end up in New York City rather than going to politicians right here in America from different states like the Abbotts of the world, the DeSantises in Florida, Arizona, and beyond, and talking and negotiating with them? You're going to go to citizens and politicians in Latin America, Mexico, Colombia, and Ecuador to ask them for assistance? Have you lost your ever-loving mind? That makes no sense. That's about the worst plan I ever heard in my damn life.
On the surface, I agree. And although there might be some problems with immigrants coming in and or us paying money for these things, I believe that there's another side of the whole issue that comes along with the immigrants being there anyway. So again, I'll address most of these because I want to play through most of this as we can. So
Why would they listen to you if they're desolate and starving and in desperate need? So much so that they come here, and even for $1,000 a month, that's exponentially better than whatever conditions they're facing in their respective countries. Why would they listen? It comes down to us and being able to work together as a nation, and clearly that's not the case. And so when you have this kind of mayhem going on, which, by the way, doesn't surprise me at all because it's an election year, and usually this stuff gets highlighted and illuminated even more during election time. That's how they like it. So you can pick and choose. What it came down to for me is this. I see homeless folks in the streets of New York all the time that are American citizens. I damn sure see them in California. We've got poor, impoverished, starving people who were born and raised in this nation. How in the hell do we come up with a $53 million pilot program for illegals, but folks who are here legally are born here, we don't have enough for them? Just like we could come up with billions for Ukraine, but somehow, some way, we can't fix the homeless problem. I'm down for helping Israel. I'm down for helping address the situations with the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, okay? I'm down for helping the Ukrainians and fighting off Russia. What about poor and desolate citizens here? How the hell do you print money for foreign countries, but you don't print that money to help eradicate folks that are starving right here in the streets of America who were born and raised here? This is what I'm talking about. And so when you have something like that, what's the one way to eradicate it? Yes, you got to have a flourishing economy. Yes, you can't have inflation. Yes, you can't be on the verge of a recession. Milk don't need to cost $7.
I see, I saw a comment. Who was it? Doris Keys Fox. What about our homeless vets? I mean, there are so many sections of our country that have to deal with homeless vets. And I will, before I end the live, I will share a specific incident that happened with me and homelessness. So we'll do it in just a little bit.
Bread don't need to cost $5. Don't get me started with how much sugar costs. You
Again,
can talk about
thank you all for those of you who have joined. Please hit the like button and share if you can. And, you know, once I get my mind and chops wrapped around what it is I'll be doing, I might have more of these more often. And it's also helpful for me to hang out with Generally Specific. Also, check out his channel. I've been, you know, getting a lot of topics thrown at me, if you will, or we bring up a lot of topics, and we'll be discussing those things on his channel. But this is one of the things that I saw today, and it kind of struck me as not odd, but it just hit me a certain way. So I thought I wanted to kind of check it out. So
employment all you want to. You can talk about the labor participation rate, but guess what? If you ain't making no damn money and you got to get 2 jobs to pay the same prices or to buy the same amount of stuff that you used to buy, and the price is higher than it used to be because of inflation, then guess what? What are you really accomplishing? That's why Trump is on the verge of getting elected, reelected. Because when he was in office, there was a flourishing economy. There was a whole bunch of other problems. And I personally think his return to the presidency is going to be civil war in this country, because he's going to be desensitized to bringing anybody together, because he's going to be on a revenge tour to get back at everybody who went against him. And I think it could be the worst possible thing for the country. But I can't blame 50 Cent, for example, when he sits up there and he's tweeting, Eric Adams, I need you to explain this to me. What the hell is going on? Maybe we should consider Trump. When he says something like that, like you can see right here, what he's saying when he said it on his social media pages, I can't blame 50 Cent for that. You want to sit up there and excoriate Ice Cube now, when he didn't pick sides in 2020, when he wasn't telling you to vote for Biden or Trump? He was just saying, yo, I want to present a plan for Black America and see who's willing to listen. And Trump gave the okay and the impression he was willing to listen. You want to call Ice Cube a sellout now? Trump got 12% of the black vote in 2016.
Was it 12%? Okay.
He got 16% of the black vote in 2020. They're projecting he's going to get more than 20% of the black vote in this upcoming election. That's what they're saying. And who's to say black folks would be wrong to vote for him? I told y'all before, I am no Republican. I voted for one Republican in my life. That's Governor Chris Christie in New Jersey, because I thought that Corzine was a disaster. I voted for Clinton. I voted for Al Gore. I voted for Barack Obama twice. I voted for Bob.
So I've heard Generally Specific say multiple times who he voted for, and I voted for Obama twice. I'm in the same boat. I find it very interesting that he said the same thing. Fair warning, fair notice, or full disclosure, if you will. As a young airman in the Air Force, I will admit that prior to being in the military and voting, and then being in the military and being influenced by people around me, I voted differently at least one time. So, and I lived in Utah for a very long time in a absolutely conservative Republican state. And then I come to North Carolina. So we just have a few more minutes. I'll give some thoughts about
Despite
this.
the crime bill that incarcerated a whole bunch of people in the 90s that looked like me, I shoved all of that aside. All of it. Because I knew how divisive Trump would be. But as we sit here now, and we watch something like this transpire, where there seems to be more rapt attention being paid to folks who are not even here illegally, nor are from this country, yet we want to turn around and ignore us. Black folks, Latinos, and beyond, who are impoverished and are in need. We know why you're doing it. Because you want that voting block. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, what did I say years ago when I used to give speeches and say I wish for at least one election, everybody vote, every black person in America votes Republican? Remember when I used to say that? You know why I used to say it? Because you'd have to flatter us from that point forward. You couldn't just take the black vote for granted. You'd have to show us what you're bringing for us, what you're delivering to the table. And oh, by the way, it's not just addressing recidivism in the prison system. We need more than that. We deserve more than that. And we certainly don't deserve to be ignored because others who are in this country are being given stuff that's never given to us. I'm talking about my black and Latino brothers and sisters. Come on, y'all.
That's like something that you say like amen in church for. All right, so interesting. So a few questions come to mind just from that and the situation in general, and I think likely, I know I saw General Specific in the chat. Thanks for joining. Yeah, so he says, has Craig seen you in the chat? I'm refreshing, and I think that I responded to some things, but maybe I'm not missing. Let's see. But yes, I appreciate you guys showing. But I thought it was interesting. Are we, as Americans, manipulated during election years that easily? I mean, clearly we see politicians start to, at least by word of mouth, address some of these issues. And you see it around election time. But I thought it was interesting. I didn't know it was quite that the trend was like that, 12% of the black vote that Trump received. first, and then 16, and I saw GS's prediction of 25%. But yeah, I mean that is interesting that he said vote. What would happen if all black people, if all Latinos, that group voted Republican for once? Because then you would have to flatter. What would happen if thereafter, things were terrible? It's kind of interesting. And what do we do about all of these things that you see now? Granted, I think that there's probably enough problems that if these people that came from other countries had to face without any assistance at all, I'm not saying assistance from the government, maybe you have to have in place, a relative or someone who can sponsor them while they're here for a period of time. Surely you may need some help. I'm not saying that you can just come here like maybe many people did before, and just, get to it and make it happen. And who knows why it is that this help is being divvied out. Now, some people might say it's a Republican thing. Some people might say it's a Democratic thing. Democrats might be more inclined to make sure that they set up and help these people. But I also think that I saw, and I this is just kind of like a on the surface look at this, but I heard somebody say that these buses came to New York and just dropped people off, and it was paid for by people who had been experiencing it in border cities. And then the question is why would you kind of put a extra burden on the system wherever it is in New York? And New York being a place probably that's inherently prone to, housing that is not affordable. I mean, anytime that I've ever heard about people talking about New York, even the smallest areas, it seems pretty expensive. And I lived in Utah and now North Carolina. And when we got here in North Carolina, I was like so thankful that the cost of living was what it was compared to Utah. So I can only imagine what it's like in New York. Now, and I really don't, I've heard GS say this a couple of times, I don't really have a dog in the fight per se. But I think it is certainly interesting that we are putting this so much money, even with stipulations, but we can't resolve the problems that we have for our own people. Now, I said I was going to share a story. There was a period of time where in Utah where I was basically homeless. And I say basically homeless because I was waiting for housing assistance as a veteran. There was a particular place that I knew that I could qualify and live for, and I think that I was on a list. And I was moving from one situation that I had housing in, and then in the interim, did I not have the funds, the ability to have a full deposit on a space. It was about a month. And so what I did was I basically lived, because I worked at the VA hospital on the side, but I stayed in the library for a month. And I got up every morning, took a shower where there was a place for me to take a shower, did my work in the hospital, what I was supposed to do, and then I would go hang out in the library, look for jobs, those kind of things. And then I would do that for a period of time. And finally, and it was something that I thought I could do until I got to where I needed to get to. So, but finally I reached out to someone, I can't remember the exact resource, but it said, where is it that you are sleeping? Or did you have a time that you didn't have a place to sleep, etc.? I said yes. I told him my story. And then that week I was in the housing that I was on a list for. Sometimes you just have to make your need known. In this case, my need was identified, and I got the housing that I needed. So I've experienced it myself, which is maybe why this particular situation tugged at me a little bit. I don't feel like I don't have any compassion for people who have come here. And now there's another problem that I know that GS has identified is the age of the immigrants that are coming here, military age. What is their view of Americans? Those kind of things. So there's a whole slew of things that I'm probably going to have to dig into. And GS, he mentioned that I'm one of those people that digs into it. So maybe it is something that we can talk about. So let me look real quickly at what it is you guys are saying. And I'm not used to doing this like he is. And so I apologize if I've been ignoring the chat, but I see you. And so I will see what I got. Let's see. Can you do a quick recap? Auditing my black. Oh, okay. Hey, what's up, AWB? Yes, we are, Craig. If you're up to see live chat, you have many talking to you. Okay. So clearly I need to work on how it is that I address you guys in my chat. And I'll get better at it. I promise I will. Same thing happened to me and with wife and kids coming from Germany to Fort Knox, Kentucky. Wait, this list for posting housing was insanely long. Yeah, I remember when we lived in Japan, we had to live in temporary housing. It was like, I swear it was like for maybe 2 months. And that was before we even were able to live off base, which we were there for a total of 4 years. So we lived in off base housing in Japan for like 2 years, and then we had base housing. But I mean, living in temporary housing is an arduous task in and of itself. You don't always have, it wasn't quite hotelish, but there's so many different things that you have to do that are so much more costly than it is if you just have a regular place. So anyway. So it sounds like we are going to dig into this particular topic on Tuesday. And I missed hanging out with GS on his show, I guess our show, if you will, but on Tuesday. So I think this will be a good topic for us to talk about. So I love being on a new channel, doing lives for the first time. I get to learn to and grow with you. Oh, that's cool. Thank you. All right, so let's see. How long do we go? I don't even know, how long is it that you should do a live for? It seems like I've just been, that was 12 minutes, and I'm hanging out with you guys still, so I still love. Didn't hit the like button. So what do we have? 7 people, 7 concurrent views. Now, this is something that I hear GS say all the time. He says 7 concurrent views, and then I guess what do I look for, the likes? I don't know. So typically I just 3 hours. You do a live for 3 hours? I know you do, AWB, but actually Auditing While Black, he has check out his channel as well, and I don't have mods. See, maybe I should reach out and have some people be mods, but I'm sure you can find his link, Auditing While Black. But he is probably the first person I ever did a show with. I was on his show. He was gracious enough to check out one of my videos. I think it actually was two of my videos. Yeah, it was 2 of my videos. So that was fun. Wow. Well, I'm certainly not prepared to do 3 hours. and if I did 3 hours of what I'm doing currently right now, you guys probably would never come in and watch another show. So I can see that there's a couple of things that I need to put in place and make sure that I can do while I'm doing it. And I was trying to see, let's see if I can find something else that I was looking for about this story. Because I think it would be interesting to know. So New York, first of all, New York is away from at least the southern border, right? So it's obviously closer to Canada. I don't know, are the people that are immigrating to New York? Well, I heard that there were buses that brought them there, but are they equally able to get to New York from the Canadian side? Does anybody know the answer to that question? Because, I mean, that would obviously be easier for them to do, but maybe it's easier for them to get into America from the south side. Remember when someone said their dad hands out wrenches to everyone? He made a mod right off the bat. He doesn't even know me. So Rats to the Moon said, remember when someone said their dad hands out wrenches to everyone? Oh. Wait, cause I call GS Leather Daddy. Now, I haven't spent time to go back to the very first time that I said that to him. Maybe Nikki or Rats to the Moon or someone knows how that happened. And then to go even further than that, I don't even remember where the whole Leather Daddy came up. So just tell me the episode. I'll go back and find out where it came from. But you know how you say, you jokingly say something, 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 daddy. That's where it came from me. But I don't remember what the first comment was. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah. Moderator. All right. Well, if anybody, how? Oh, I just noticed something. Let's see. Where do I find out how long this particular live has been? Does anybody know where I look for that? Why don't I know that? Oh, let's see. Nope. I wonder if I bring it up on a channel. Let me see what it looks like. I believe that in the past when I've done these before, that if you look at the live, then it becomes kind of confusing. I don't want to be confused. Or maybe I already am confused. Let's see. I live in South Texas. We are overwhelmed with immigrants. That's Doris Keys Fox. So I graduated in San Diego. Although I learned Japanese when I was growing up, I don't get to practice Japanese as often. And I was exposed to Spanish when I came back. And funny story, I mean, I'm not typically a cheater, but this is something that I did when I was in high school, when I first came back from Japan. So I took Spanish, and I ended up learning Spanish kind of like once you learn one language, your mind knows how to do it again. So that's why I get to practice Spanish now. But I remember initially when we had vocabulary quizzes that I would jot down a Spanish word, but because in Japanese, the alphabet is phonetic. So like it goes a, I, u, e, o, kakikuiko, tachichureto. So it sounds, right? So like, let's just say if I was thinking baka, like cow, then I would write baka in Japanese letters, and it would kind of jog my memory, and I would make some kind of association. And I remember my Spanish teacher saying, "Oh, that's so cool. You know how to write in Japanese." And I just kind of smiled. Now, I said cheating, but I mean, in the strictest form, I was cheating. I'm going to admit it. But I didn't write complete definitions of the words that I was doing in Spanish. I was just writing the phonetic version of Spanish as kind of a memory jogging. And I think it happened twice that I did the same thing. And I think she may have caught on like the third time. And she just basically said, there's no writing on the desks. And so she had me make sure that I erased it. But I forget why I was going to tell that. Oh, tell the story. Oh, so I have some experience with kids, my age at the time, that were clearly immigrants, or that their parents were immigrants. And I actually became friends with some. But it was my first experience of knowing that people lived in families that they spoke English at school and only Spanish at home. Or when their parents came for different functions, they would translate for them. And I think as you get to a certain age, if you have spoken a different language other than English or any other language, that your accent remains forever. You can't get rid of it. I don't know. I mean, it's just something that I don't know. Okay, I think I have to refresh because I noticed that sometimes I refresh and there's like 100 more 100 more things in here. Let's see. Sent you a very interesting video by Jericho Green, Craig. Okay, thank you. Where did you send it? So GS actually has my phone number. My email is listed on the in the description, so it's faqthemadness@gmail.com. If you have a video, well, if you have something that you would like for me to look at, I'll try to give the same treatment that I'm doing now, or at least something that maybe I can develop some questions that I can discuss with GS, because GS and I, we have, although we may have different opinions on some things, there is a foundation of things that we do agree on. I know that inherently, I can feel that we are, kindred brethren and spirits on some level. And I think it's okay for us. In fact, hearing him speak with people of late and kind of being exposed to different things, I think just sometimes it takes having the ability to discuss with someone and not have that person just be completely, I think the word he uses, it's insufferable. I don't know if insufferable is the term that I would use, because I know what it means, don't get me wrong, but insufferable, I get what he means, but I look at it as something that elicits a certain response. And ultimately, when I'm engaging with somebody, I don't necessarily want a response to occur. And maybe that's why, when we get to the step where we call it a debate. And I like the way we approach the topics that we have discussed, where we're just kind of showing the information that's out there and then discussing it. So, and we'll get better at doing it. So it's just something that I've noticed. Let's see. Go to all chat. Oh, okay. All right, let's see. Well, mine says top chat and live chat. All messages are visible. Is that what you think I should do? I will be watching you again. Oh, thank you, Doris Keys, Miss Fox. Doris Keys Fox. Nearly all of you that I see here, I see on GS channel as well. So I guess on multiple levels, will I say, I do feel like I know a lot of you guys from him. So kudos to you guys and him for having that relationship develop. But more importantly, thank you for coming over to my channel and checking me out. So I appreciate it. I really do. Domo arigatou gozaimashita. That's how you say it in Japanese. How you say it, thank you very much. Muchas gracias, right? Okay. I can't say it in any other language. At my peak, nobody asked this question, I'm just going to tell you. At my peak, I probably knew about maybe like a first grade or second grade Japanese. And so at the time I was functionally illiterate, because you can recognize and know the characters. So there are 3 alphabets, I guess we'll say 2.5. So there are characters which you see, they call that kanji, right? Which is derived from Chinese writing, and all the other types that you see, even Korean, for example, those are derived from Chinese, and then they get changed in various countries. So I learned how to write hiragana and katakana, and read. But when I say read, I recognize the character and the sound, so I could read Japanese, but I may not necessarily understand the words that I'm reading. So functionally illiterate in Japanese, basically. And even to this day, thank you. So 44 minutes. I think we'll try to get to an hour. I think that would be fair, right? So that's how I am. And even Spanish. I mean, you can read Spanish, because they're using, what do you call it? Greek letters? Is that what we call it? Greek? Roman letters? Latinized? I forget. I don't even know what you call it. See, and I would be one of those people who I would want to, I know you guys heard me typing while I was listening to the video, because I can hear it in my headset. So there's just a number of different things I got to kind of change to make this as good as it could possibly be. All right. So Stephanie's here. Anybody have any? Oh, Latin. Thank you, Rats. Let's see. American girl turned American Canadian man. I missed a lot, didn't I? So I'm sorry if it seems as though you guys are being ignored. I would be upset with me. So I apologize. I'll get better. I promise. I'll figure out a way to. So I think this is what I know I can do. So I use OBS. And I know I recorded for a portion. I didn't record for the whole entire thing. So just so that I can see kind of, my own interaction, and I'll watch it, and I know what's going to happen. And I think I'm going to have to talk to. So GS, this is to GS. So I know that you asked me about a couple of different things. One is how I do voiceovers. So if you can show me the logistics of what I need to do when I'm doing a live, or just kind of run it down for me, then I would tell you this anyway, but I can go over at least what I do for my voiceovers. And I don't know what tool you're using for your recording, but I'm sure you can do the same thing. So yeah. So now this is something that before I even got on, I didn't actually get to the research of it all. You won't catch everything. Oh, okay. Yeah. And AWB, I know that you do. I mean, he's like along with what I've seen GS doing, just kicking out cool content. Reviewing videos of other auditors, or just random body worn camera footage, all kinds of things that are out there that are heartbreaking, disappointing, all those different things. You can get the whole gamut. So definitely check out AWB's channel. It is Auditing While Black. You will definitely find, and I'm pretty sure he's still where he was, traveling abroad. But and I think, at least as far as I'm concerned, when he went to Thailand, I think it is, he maybe twice as much content as he was doing prior to that. But he was out in the field, doing audits as well. And then now he's kind of on the other side of the coin. I can't wait till he gets back and starts to do that again. But yeah, for sure, I'm certainly looking at it. I'm looking forward to when GS goes out in the field as well. Ever please plan for him to check his email. What is that? Oh, check his email now? Oh, do you want me to do it now? Okay. Stand by. Check my email. All right. Let's see. I got it. Todd Bryant. Creep the. Okay. Okay. So, am I clicking on that? No, that's not working. Okay.
The ultimate combo from Optimum.
So this
Sign
is
up and
from-
get 1 gig internet for as low as
This is
$55 a
from
month and save $300.
GS.
Plus, get a $200 gift on
Generally
us.
specific.
Call, click, or visit a store today.
Oh, and I love this bumper music. This is one of my favorites, along with GS's.
Well, good damn afternoon, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. Hit the description box. Click that link, like, subscribe, share my new channel, Green's House. I sit down with amazing people who have an interesting story to tell. And boy, do I have an interesting story to tell you today. Now, of course, we all know New York City has been turned into Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome. Master Blaster run Barter Town. It's a lawless fucking mess. There are some images that I want
Hey,
to show you.
David. Yes, this is the first time I've.
If it weren't for the skyscrapers in the background,
you've
you wouldn't
been with
believe
me.
that was New York City. You wouldn't believe that that was a city in America, even though more and more every day it seems like that is becoming the American standard. We are willingly giving away our first world status, one shitty city at a time. You have cities around the world that blow our infrastructure out of the water. We got shitty roads, shitty bridges. Our airports suck. Meanwhile, in Dubai, it looks like the fucking Jetsons. Remember how their little spaceship cars sound?
That is funny. He said, meanwhile in Dubai, it looks like the Jetsons. That's funny. I like that. I don't know if I can replay that again, but that was funny to me.
Like the fucking Jetsons. Remember how their little spaceship cars sounded? You look up, there's things flying in the air in Dubai. Tall skyscrapers, clean. Cutting edge. State of the art.
I've never been to Dubai.
We're American. We got
Anywhere in Europe either.
duct tape, okey doke, redneck bullshit, double wide trailer of a country. So first,
Can somebody tell me,
talk about
please,
Randall.
when I'm talking and he is on, if you're able to hear me, or if I need to stop and then do it? So let me know, please, in the comments. Thank you.
Island. And if you've been listening to moi, you've heard me mention it a few times. It is one of the
North
many
Carolina,
areas
by the way, has
in
very
New York
good
City
roads.
where they are housing these illegals. They call them asylum seekers, but we know
And yes, the episode where you had Jericho Green on GS was a wonderful episode, and I do dig him, and I listen to him quite often now.
truth. This is where they're housing these gangbangers, because that's what these people are. These are thugs. These are ne'er-do-wells
Roger
who
that.
have been
Thank you.
released into our country. Their country sets them free. They head up here, and we say, "Durr, come on in." What could go wrong? You're a criminal at home, but all of a sudden, you're going to be a Boy Scout when you get here. No. You're going to be even worse. This is all new. You know what we are? You know what America is? America is... Hold on a second. Let me... Yeah, where is it?
So, GS, you said stopping helps to bot miss. Do you mean like bot miss his commentary, but you come through nicely? If you clarify what it is that you mean, then I got it. And David Finkel said, I can hear you both, but my old ears has a hard time focusing on both. Roger that. So I think I'll stop. I get it. I will do that. And let's see. Better to stop, but not always practical. I understand. Got you. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
You ever see that movie, Demolition Man? With Sylvester Stallone and Wesley
I do remember
Snipes?
that movie.
Well, in that movie, in the present day, it's wild, crazy, violence, shooting. Stallone and
Hey,
Wesley
Stephanie.
Snipes, their adversaries.
Stephanie Jinx in the
They
house.
meet in this building where their hostage is being taken.
Thanks for
People are
joining
getting
us.
Shot, explosion. So then they both get cryogenically frozen. And the future they grow up in is a giant vagina. If a guy who wears a pink pussy hat could be a city, that's what Los Angeles was. There were no crimes. There were no homicides. Everybody wore this weird futuristic garb and greetings, fellow citizen. And everything was perfect and peaceful and clean and beautiful. And they didn't know how to deal with criminals. So when Wesley Snipes was thawed out in this future Los Angeles, nobody had anything in place to contain him. They couldn't stop him. He was kicking in windows, breaking shit, stealing shit. Nobody could stop him. They weren't built to deal with that. He came from a different time, a different place that their citizens weren't equipped to deal with. That's what's happening now. You have these hordes of gangbangers and criminals who come up here to America where we don't have high walls around everybody's neighborhood and soldiers patrolling the streets. This is easy pickings.
That's a good.
Look at all this wonderful, expensive stuff. All they have
idea.
between us and it is
my
glass. That's all.
GS is
glass?
giving me hints.
They have in the
So
time
I
of
am
life,
going to
it's
step
never
away
been
for
easier to
just
be
a brief
criminal
moment. I will be back.
than these illegals that come up here.
Maybe I should stop for a second, so because I don't want to. And I don't have any experience with like privacy strikes or content strikes or whatever. So I'm just going to go get my phone based on what GS just told me to do. But yes, I don't want to be looking at that and then looking at the screen at the same time and miss what you guys are talking about. So I'm just going to step away for a minute and I'll be right back.
And continue their criminal enterprises. This is easy. What is it, San Angeles? Is that what they called it? The new LA? That's what this is. All these illegal criminals coming up here are Wesley Snipes, and we are San Angeles. Just greetings. We don't know how to deal with this shit. Some of us do. But this is awesome. What they come from, the violence, the squalor, the poverty, the corruption, to come up here? Man, this is easy. Put their little scooter gangs together. They're doing smash and grabs, knocking over stores, breaking into these expensive neighborhoods, stealing millions of dollars in jewels and other expensive items. This shit is easy. They're calling back home. Brother, you gotta come up here. They don't do shit here. And if we could even stomp some cops in the head. They'll have our faces in HD on camera. They bring us in and then they let us go. That's fucking great, man.
Now I am back.
So,
And I have
this footage from
this in my hand now. Thanks, guys.
Randall Island. And remember, Randall Island
See, I should do this.
is where they have 24-hour snacks and tea, fluff and fold laundry service, video games, call centers, and of course their native fare. Meaning they're serving these people meals that are from their home country. They're serving them arroz con pollo and shit like that because God forbid these people get homesick. They're feeding them native or South American food so they feel at home. Can you believe this shit?
Wait, so I just saw this from Doris Keys Fox. She said FAQ, like I said, they have headsets that read your chat to you. Really? Now Daddy needs that. But I can imagine that I'm listening. We're not listening to it now. We're listening to it together. But then in the background, you know what? You just made me think. Like, don't newscasters, like, in their ear, isn't their producer, like, telling them stuff? how does that happen? Like, you're talking, reading the teleprompter, and then in the background you have somebody telling you, you know, in the session or whatever. Good Lord, have mercy. I guess I got to get better
This
at
is how
this.
they're acting. This is what happens when you import criminals to a land that's not going to punish them. They're going to do what they do. Like LL Cool J said, doing it and doing it and doing it well. They're great at being criminals. Ay, ay, ay. So let's see.
Of course, all anyone is
Now,
talking about
I'm gonna ask
today,
this question.
FanDuel is heading to
You
North
guys tell me.
Carolina.
I'm going to do what I'm going to do, but
FanDuel,
I'm
America's
pause for a
number one
second.
sportsbook.
Oh, shoot. Sorry, where were we? Sorry.
They're serving them arroz con pollo and shit like that because
That was an
God
accident.
forbid, these people.
But what I was going to ask is, so I'm reviewing at GS's request, I'm reviewing Jericho Green's video. And he has on his video different spots where advertising comes through. So, which do you think that he wants more from lonely old me, lowly old me? Obviously, I'm going to say, watch this video. I think it's cool so far, and I've only watched a few minutes. But does he also want, or does he get more benefit if we watch through the advertising? I see people click through it all the time, but I'm just curious. Actually, I think what I'm going to do, now you guys tell me what you think about this, because really when it comes down to it, I'm trying to be fair in my mind. So if I'm going to review a video, I think I could have in a second tab the video so that it runs through automatically, but keep it on silent. That way any advertisements or anything else can run through and he gets the click. What do you guys think about that?
People get
It's
homesick.
my noble idea.
They're feeding them native or South American food, so they feel at home. Can you believe this shit? So this is how they're acting. This is what happens when you import criminals to a land that's not going to punish them. They're going to do what they do.
So GS said that he gets more AdSense, so it won't hurt me at all. It will not distract me or hurt me at all if I have in a separate tab this video because I'm reviewing it going so that it plays all the way through one and also the ads, because I'm certainly going to probably take longer if I pause even for a second or 2 seconds longer. So I think it's not a bad solution for what it is that I'm trying to accomplish with regards to doing that. So, but then I can skip on this side, which is what I did.
They're great at being criminals.
But yes, Doris, you have a point. I'm a grown ass man. It's my channel. So I'll take that to heart. Thank you.
This is Randall Island, New York City. And this is also a place that they erected for these 500 plus asylum seekers, mostly young men. You'll see in the video in the background, young men, well dressed, all have phones. And here's the best part about Randall Island. No, guys. It's not that
Randall Island
surrounding neighborhoods and adults are no longer allowed to use the soccer facilities here. You got to find somewhere else. But this is costing. You ready, New Yorkers? If you got any New Yorkers,
Roger that. He said skip mine if you ever. AWB said skip mine if you ever use my video.
Right.
David Finkel's in here. What do you say?
This
but you're not monetized,
facility,
right? That's
who knows
right.
how
He's
many
not, and he prides himself. That's
So
David
much
Finkel
money.
on not being monetized. I don't know if you may get to a point though where, just by the nature of you producing content and spending time to do so, even though it might be a hobby or it might be something that you like to do, don't you think you'd want to get paid if you can? And I'm addressing this to, GS is there, obviously AWB, and then David Finkel, but and I've heard him say multiple times that he's not monetized, and on some level he prefers it that way, so he doesn't have to be bound by the beast of YouTube, right? So
buzzing around, everybody's sticking their hand in there. Who knows? This one facility is costing the New York taxpayer $20 million a month for this. For this. Hey,
No living being should.
hey, look at that jacket. Look at that red and white jacket. Hey. Fuck you, man.
does that red and white jacket mean something? I didn't get that part.
Fuck you, man.
Ooh.
Let's see. Are they gonna show the scene where one of the female officers, the fuck is she doing there, gets hit in the head with a backpack? Let's see. Her right there.
Got you.
There's a.
Thanks,
she's hit in
AWB.
the head with a
I think he
backpack.
was subbed before, but maybe he got unsubbed
She's doing
somehow.
nothing. What are you doing?
Oh, you
Create a perimeter.
subbed to
You're doing
his
nothing to
channel.
help
Yes.
with that
Good
arrest.
job.
Water
Thank you.
bottles.
He thanks you.
Hey, why not throw things at the cops? If they turn on American news from 3 years ago, the Summer of Love going on 4 years ago, they were throwing shit.
So, Randall's Island shelter. Now, I heard him say that. I'm going to be checking this out, obviously. Now, and I don't know how you do it, GS, but all these videos that you get, I see you, getting videos from people all the time. And you know me, I'm definitely. I mean, I have some questions about all of these things, and this is something that you and I are probably going to talk about. So, I have to be cognizant of the fact that one of the reasons why I'm doing this particular thing is because I became interested in it on some level, but it also is something that I might want to talk about with you, so that we can bounce off the questions back and forth, which is why we do what we do. But still, in the background, I still want to look into, first of all, do we think, or what do you all think? You tell me in the comments. Do you think that there is a higher number of military-aged men that are immigrating, or other categories, women, children, elderly people? So I don't know if the number's supported or not, but according to I've heard GS say it before, and I've heard also Jericho Green say something to the effect of the types of people that are coming in, that being military-aged men, which, if there's enough of it, could be problematic. But at the end of the day, just because you are of military age, what can you do away from that country that you came from? What are you all going to, organize and invade America? To what end? I don't know. That's some of the FAQs that come to my mind.
Oh, damn it, New York Post, come on.
70%? Okay, stand by. Where the hell do you get that number from? 70%? Military-aged men? Now, I mean, I'm not saying that you're wrong, but that seems like a lot of cats coming into America. Maybe that might be problematic. Interesting.
I'll find the footage where she gets hit
Memo
in the
to
head.
Seth. Check out.
Hey,
70%.
motherfucker, you're not thirsty, man. Fuck you, man. Look at that. They're just here for a better life. Quiet, taxpayer. Shut up.
Thanks, David.
They're just here for a better life. They just want to come up here. Remember what George Bush said? Bring them out of the shadows. We don't want them hiding in the shadows. Come on out. It's okay. They just want a better life. Their children. I just come here to work. Solamente work. That's all I went to do, Mr. Los Estados Unidos. It's gonna work. What's wrong with working? You work. You work, American.
So see, now.
Why can I not come up here?
I mean, we've gone through this video, and I don't know how long we've been on here, but I'm definitely going to watch it again. I have to learn how to focus myself so that I can actually internalize what it is that I'm hearing, because there's so many things going on, and yes, it's making me appreciate what you do even more, because I can see the tasks that you have to face whenever you have these 6-hour and 8-hour long lives. And AWV, I don't know, I've seen you on there for quite a long time too. So anyway, let's get to this.
I work, dude. They just want to work. Those are all, they were yelling, thank you, police, thank you, America. That's what all those guys were yelling. Thank you, gracias, señor y señorita.
Trafficking. Yeah, I mean,
That's what they were saying.
Okay. So again, and these are some of the things that come to mind that with this whole entire thing. So first of all, let me look at it from, and this is just me talking through what my thoughts are with regards to immigration in general. So we are a nation that has always had welcome arms. It's inscribed on the Statue of Liberty, those kind of things. Now, obviously, we've gotten to a point where somehow our desire to make sure that we take care of the needy from other countries, refugees, for example, maybe that's become problematic because there are so many other problems that go along with it. I mean, we cannot be the protector of the entire world, right? Which, on some level, it seems like we are trying to be at times. But at the same time, what is it that you do when there is definitely problems that people need to run away from? Where do they go? And are we a nation that will welcome those people? And the other side of the coin what I'm thinking about is that the process of taking in an immigrant legally is something that should and can occur. It's all of the other bullshit that we have to deal with, which is like, red tape, all that stuff, the process, because even the people that are coming in legally now, there are people that did it legally before them that are still waiting to be naturalized and all that stuff. I mean, am I missing something? That is a conundrum, if you will, of problems that just in that process alone. And then you have to worry about how are they going to be fed, how are they going to live, survive, all those kind of things. And New York seems to claim that they're saving money by giving them a stipend because they don't have all these other things that they have to worry about. Crime, increased crime. If you feed them, then they are not going to go out and steal it, right? Or maybe they are. I don't know. So certainly interesting, though.
You guys want to see this? Here we go. New York City's finest. NYPD. Female of color police officer takes backpack to her dome. Boop. There it is.
Yeah, we do.
They just want a better life. Why are you guys being assholes? Why are you American first?
Okay, so now this is something that Rats to the Moon said. I've talked to those who came here legally, and they are bitter pissed about what is going on now. So is it that's the question, right? The people, because now I haven't looked at the numbers, and I know I looked on the surface just a little bit, but the immigrants that we have, as far as I don't even know how to phrase this question, but there are already immigrants in the system, and then the system is being burdened by even more immigrants. there's conflicts all around the world. People are always going to prey on the weak. Somebody has to protect them, but to GS's point, they shouldn't be on assistance for too long. I mean, it's just, what are you gonna do? Can't raise my hands up. I talk with my hands a lot, but if I raise my hands up, then you guys will see the terribleness behind me, which is my eBay business, which is going to be moved soon. But in the interim, because that was my excuse for not getting on and going through the motions. But kind of like Todd and AW and all those people, you just got to get up and just do it, press record. So that's what I'm doing, and I appreciate you guys being here.
These people just want a better life. And New York taxpayer, again, you are paying $20 million a month for people to come up here and act like that. So if they would do that to police officers on duty, uniform, taser, gun, pepper spray,
I did not think it would go longer than like 20 minutes.
All that stuff on their belt. What do you think they're going to do to you? You think that's going to be confined to New York City? That's the only place they're sending these people?
Okay. So Doris Keys Fox says, I would like to know, what about our families and children that are hungry and homeless? Help our people first. So I think a lot of the sentiment that's in the chat is that why is it that we help other nations and other people, other immigrants, etc., when we can't even help our own people? Now, again, I still see within, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't do that. I'm in full agreement of that. The question that I want to ask, I think I might be. Looks like I don't know what I'm seeing. I don't know if I can refresh. The question that I want to ask is, do we have other problems that people that are in America that are, Native Americans? I'm not saying Native Americans as in Indians. I'm saying Native Americans as in Americans that may need assistance or may be homeless for whatever reason. Are we having problems with the people that are that way, or are we having problems with the process that helps them get out of that situation? Because I think what is happening, or what has happened in some places, where people get on assistance, whatever you call that, welfare, etc., and they stay on it for years and generations, right? That seems to be a problem. And the question is do immigrants that come to America, I wonder if they have the same length of time average length of time on assistance. That'd be interesting. I'm going to write that down. Well, I'll be able to look at it. Anyway. Okay. I don't know. Something I think has happened with my...
Now, are there some people coming in here in these hordes who will just work?
Try this.
Who really do just want to give their children a better opportunity? Yeah, I'm sure there are. But you're not welcome either. Because guess what American parents are doing right here in America for their American children? We're trying to give them a better foothold in life too. So you at least got to get behind us in line. We're trying to do that too. You don't love your kids more than we do. You don't work harder than we do. Who do you think created this beacon? Who do you think created this giant light bulb, and all you moths are attracted to it? We did. How do we do that? Work, sacrifice, trying to make it better, blah, blah, blah. But you see how they're treating the law enforcement who carries.
All right. Well, I don't know. So I do have a question. So I have a camera that is up in front of me, but I see a screen that shows me frozen. So does that mean that there's a problem, or maybe I should do something different? Maybe somebody can let me know. Because on my side, it looks like it's like I can see. And maybe that's just... Yeah, I'm froze. Frozen. Froze. All right. Let's see. What do I do? Well, maybe that's a good time for me to end. And there's a lot of questions that we came up, and I'm sure Todd and I can revisit Todd is GS, right? So I'm sure that that we can revisit the questions, at least that I began to pose, and I can kind of see. Oh, okay, close on. So I'm gonna try to do that just so I can see if I can get myself out. Okay, close that one. I can close that one. I don't need that one. All right, I'm working through it. I'm working through it. I don't think I need that. Excuse me. So bear with me while we get through these trying times in the Lord. I definitely need to get that one down. Okay. And then what do I do? Without losing show. Close down as many windows as you can without losing the show. So am I still there? I guess I am. Your laptop may need a fan running under its overheating. Oh, okay. Well, I'm using a desktop and the fan is moving. I just have one of those computers that, All right. Thank you. Reopen or... 1 second. There's a heart in the way of AWBs. But so I can tell you, since you guys can hear me, I guess you can hear me, but I'm frozen. I guess it's okay for me to be in the background frozen. I mean, look at that mug. Like GS says, reset your camera on OBS. Okay. Let's see. Go to... Says, you see that handsome face, that handsome mug. I wonder if so I cannot... I know I can't close OBS. Normally that's what I would do, but then that would affect the stream, right? Yeah, so that heart, like sometimes you have to wait for more people to respond in order for you to read the rest of it because of that damn heart. What platform side? I'm using OBS on... Yeah, just OBS. Like, I know you guys that are more sophisticated than myself use, was it StreamYard? Is that what you call it? Yeah, I'm not quite there yet, but maybe I will be. Well, should we call it a night? I believe that you guys tickled my fancy with the subject at hand. Now I have Jericho Green's kind of slant on it. I had Stephen A. Smith's slant on it. I have my own kind of ponderings about it. I guess when we put it together, GS, it should be not too bad of a show, at least us talking about it, right? Yeah. You mean, so StreamYard being easier as in easier to navigate or easier to handle? Like, what do you mean? I'll call you. Yes, sir. Thank you. Well, I appreciate you guys coming. So I am going to end the stream. I'm, again, if you haven't already done so, please like, share, subscribe. You don't necessarily have to share, but you can subscribe if you're not a subscriber. I would love to have you guys watch me grow. And as I do it along with GS and the rest of the family, maybe we can see some other ponderings on the other side of whatever coin, or maybe the coin will become the same and be more of a flat kind of thing. I don't know. Who knows? But anyway, some of your vids after this. Oh yeah, and AWB, like I said, he has a lot of content. All Doing Well Black, and he has a nice following, and they seem to. And it's been a while since I've been on. Well, I mean, I watch his videos all the time, but I haven't been when he's been able to interact. But he's always appreciative of the support that he has. He has good mods that allow the show to just go continuously without any problem, similar to what Generally Specific does. You can almost always, nearly any time of the day, log into YouTube and find something that GS has put out there. So anyway, but again, I remember to send out notifications before going live. Oh, good point. I will do all of that. You guys, I mean, the next time I do it, you guys will be inundated with notifications, and hopefully we'll put up another good show. So appreciate it, everybody. Thank you very much for joining. This is FAQ The Madness. My name is Craig, and I've enjoyed having you with me. Until next time, we will see you. Take care. Peace.